Welcome back to KTN News Center. We're talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And in this conversation, I have a financial expert with me in studio, George Mangs. Thank you for, still keeping it here on Bottom Line Africa. So, Mangs, when I look at some of the countries that have legalized Bitcoin, I'm seeing countries like China, Australia, Canada, Vietnam, Russia, El Salvador, and also, the United States of America. I'm not seeing any African country on this list. So why do you think African countries are not yet ready, they're actually careful in legalizing the use of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
First of all, like I said earlier, most of the African countries normally come up with the regulations based on how the developed world embraces it. So, like in the US, it's not really legalized as such. I think apart from El Salvador and lately Ukraine, and I think Cuba is also pushing for it. Most of these much more developed economies are looking at it from a strict regulatory perspective because they usually witness lots of transactions in their financial ecosystems. The US is has not banned, and neither has it really allowed legally. So that gives it a kind of conundrum. If you look at China, most of the Bitcoin mining companies are in China. Recently, China was doing a crackdown on the same because of the power consumption. But they still, China actually has like the highest number of such participants in the cryptocurrency web. So for Africa, I think if you look at it, and now you're looking at Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa, which are the leading in Africa, there's a lot of activity, but mostly it's on transaction basis. Mining, not so much because of the power requirements. And then the legalization bit, it's just, I can say, well, they say they're doing the research and everything, but I think it's a long way to go. Until we have a directive from the developed world, I doubt we'll do much about that.
So I do think people are investing more on the Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies.
Just come again?
Why do you think people are investing more?
Because of the returns, obviously, the returns are... Let me just take Kenya, for instance. If you look at the mainstream investment vehicles that we have, the asset classes, you have real estate. If you look at most of the reports coming out, Saiton, Has Consult, you're looking at the average returns per annum of less than 10%. So that means your break-even point for you to recoup your capital, if you do real estate, it's going to take years. If the more money you put in, the more it's going to take you to break even. If you come to money markets, most of them range between 7 to maybe 9%, let's say 10, highest 11% per annum. Stock markets are a different scenario, depends on what shares you're buying. But if you come into cryptocurrency, look at Bitcoin alone, and I can say Bitcoin is sort of a slow mover compared to the other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah. All right. So as we end up this conversation, yes, you've given us a good explanation as to why why Bitcoin is causing a lot of jittery within the African continent. Let's get right back home here in Kenya. Don't you think this can be a good avenue for the Kenya Revenue Authority to collect more taxes?
If you look at the returns, the cryptocurrency traders or other investors make from Bitcoin and altcoins, they're very huge, they're very much. And now the problem is it's a catch-22. KRA cannot tax you for something that's not regulated. So CBK has to come out explicitly and tell us cryptocurrencies are legal. You guys, whatever you make in terms of capital gains, you're going to tax that. And that now is going to open the floodgates. I mean, it can be a very good tax haven for KRA. They can really reap a lot. But as it is, KRA can't do anything because CBK has not given us the green light.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, George Mangs, a financial expert, for just trying to delve into that deep conversation about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in Africa, specifically in Kenya, why the government is so reluctant in embracing it and why we don't have a legal law in terms of a bill to try and regulate this sector. Asante sana for joining us here on Bottom Line Africa today, George Mangs, a financial expert. Now, still on stories making the headlines, let's head straight to Sudan, where in Sudan, rap has come out of the shadow